back to the Schmotable, everyone. Shake and Bake here with Rain Man and D-Voc. We have a very short hiatus between our last Schmotable. A lot has happened in a short period of time. Let's dive right into it, guys. I don't need to know how you guys are doing. I know you guys are doing fine, except for D-Voc. He's pissed about the Cubs. Oh well.
I'm not doing fine. You're not pissed about the Cubs, Shake and Bake?
I called them at least taking it to Game 7 after they won Game 5. So
okay. I knew they were. I know
I'm right. So I guess it hasn't annoyed me that much.
That's good. I knew they were taking it to Game 7 because they announced a week prior that if it went to a Game 7, our flag football game would be canceled on Wednesday.
Yep. I got the same email.
Yeah, we literally don't play flag. We played playing Wednesdays. It's ruined every single week.
They're pushing all of Chicago sports or Chicago player sports intramurals back because of the Cubs. Mm-hmm. And it could potentially be a disastrously historical evening tomorrow night. But we'll get to baseball in a little bit. Let's start with the NFL. We might be a day late, but we're definitely not a dollar short on the Jamie Collins trade. Patriots linebacker Jamie Collins suddenly, abruptly, got traded for a third-round compensatory pick from the Cleveland Browns. So Jamie Collins, who is considered one of the best linebackers, I think, in the NFL, and definitely at least on the Patriots, went from possibly being on the best team in the NFL, certainly looks like the best team in the NFL, to being on what could be one of the worst teams ever in the NFL, and will probably still get paid like he's playing on the best team in the NFL. Guys, what was your initial reaction when this came across your phone or saw it on the internet, wherever you might have been when it happened?
Well, I think my initial reaction was like, you're like sleeping with Margot Robbie. Then all of a sudden you find out after she's like herpes or something like that. That was my initial reaction. What can you compare this to in terms of getting traded from the Patriots to the Browns?
I think Ryan Clark actually said it best when he was like, "How do you tell your girl that you got to Cleveland?"
What did he say?
Ryan Clark on one of the ESPN shows, I think it was on Mike and Mike, said, "How do you tell your girl that you just got traded to Cleveland? How do you break the news to your significant other that, hey, babe, I'm going from the New England Patriots to the Cleveland Browns because I wanted Von Miller money?"
I don't know. Maybe you just moonlight that you're playing still for the Patriots and hope she doesn't watch.
Yeah.
You keep your house in Boston and pretend. You keep your house in Boston and pretend you still live there, even though you have to travel to Cleveland for games. I mean, honestly, I don't know. The Browns and the Patriots must have a great relationship because they've traded Barkevius Mingo for the 5th-round pick and then Jamie Collins for the 3rd. And, I think it kind of shows Bill Belichick, honestly, anytime he makes a move, it always seems to work out for him. He always cuts the players right before they drop off in talent level or production. He knows when people aren't fitting anymore, and he knows when to pull the move. So, honestly, I think he knew that Jamie Collins' negotiations weren't going well, and he didn't appreciate how he was doing on the field. I think he got a little cocky of himself because he is one of the top linebackers. And, as Michael Lombardi said, he kept freelancing and doing whatever you want. And Bill Belichick is not the type of dude you want to freelance for. He is the type of guy you need to listen to every word he says and adhere to it very strictly.
I just think it's just more proof that the Patriots do it's not that the Patriots don't give a fuck, it's that they don't have to give a fuck. Yeah. They traded a guy who's considered maybe the best two-way linebacker as far as coverage or man-to-man coverage, zone coverage, getting after the passer, and just being a tackling machine, one of the few three-way threaded linebackers, and just shipped him off to Cleveland, where he will inevitably have a disappointing career if he signs a contract there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they got this. They must think highly of this Landon Roberts. Is that who's going to be replacing him?
Pretty much, yeah.
So yeah. They must.
They're going to put the USA Rugby captain and Nate. What's his name? Nate Eckling. Is that his name? He's a safety. He's a safety technically, but he looks like
Nate Ebner.
Ebner, thank you.
Yeah.
Patriot. Literally.
He sounds like
Literally
someone
and figuratively.
sounds like a guy who would be good for the Patriots. That's what he sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's career goes to die in Cleveland.
To be like a star.
I mean, he doesn't have to. I mean, he's definitely going to have to play this season. Will then likely get franchise tag.
Yep.
And then can decide what he wants to do after that. If I'm him, I just play out the seasons as I have to and get the hell out of there. Unless Hugh Jackson really convinces him to stay and that there's actually something being built in Cleveland, which it's just hard to think that Hugh Jackson will even be around long enough to make that problem.
Yeah.
It's
it's like a dumpster fire the size of New Mexico. I don't know how they're going to put that out. They just constantly keep fueling the flames with terrible draft picks and horrible decision-making. So I don't see it easing up anytime soon and becoming
They did make one good decision.
Premier destination.
They did make one good decision. They made one good decision. The Browns.
What was that?
Trent Richardson. They traded Trent Richardson.
They did.
And
then they dropped Brandon Whedon instead.
And then they fired the front office after that season anyway.
I said it was only one good decision. I didn't say it was multiple.
Well,
true.
Speaking of bad decisions and bad situations, a little news out of college football. We don't get to touch on this nearly enough, but Tennessee's starting running back, Jalen Hurd, decided yesterday that he was going to quit the Tennessee football team because he was being used improperly in the offense and is going to transfer somewhere to play wide receiver or tight end as he feels those will be his best skill position fits in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
For who follow college football as close as I do, what was the initial thought when you saw that headline?
I do not follow SEC football nearly as close as you do. I want to hear your take first on this whole thing about Jalen Hurd.
Yeah.
Give me what type of player he was. Give me the situation he was in, how he was used. I want to hear about this.
So for the past 2 seasons, as Butch Jones has been trying to rebuild the Tennessee program, Jalen Hurd was a high 4-star, 5-star recruit out of the state of Tennessee. He's 6'4", he's 240 pounds, he's athletic, he catches the ball, he runs well, he runs smart. And he had 1,000 yards his freshman year, he had 1,000 yards his sophomore year, and I believe he had like almost 1,800 yards of offense last year as a running and receiving threat. And this year he was banged up. Tennessee had a spectacular start to the year, but he was hurt. They're currently on a 3-game losing streak to Texas A&M, Alabama, and South Carolina. He only has 100-yard games this season, and the one game that he missed, which I believe was against Texas A&M, his backup, Alvin Kamara, who, funny enough, is an Alabama transfer, had 300 yards of total offense and looks like maybe a little bit better scheme fit. But Jalen Hurd is a guy who seemed to kind of transcend the spread offense scheme that Tennessee was running and just proved that he was a phenomenal football talent. So now he's decided that because the offense won't cater to him or he's not a fit to the spread zone read scheme, he needs to leave to pursue greener pastures. My take on it is what a pussy. Oh, my God.
I mean, he's a senior, right?
He's a junior.
A junior.
It started his career with 2,000-yard seasons and now is just leaving to go play wide receiver, tight end, and what he says he wants to find a pro-style offense to play a wide receiver, tight end, and hone his skills so he can go to the NFL as one of those positions. Now, he's a big guy, like I said. He's 6'4", 230, 240 pounds. But I don't see how just becoming, switching to more of an H-back or maybe a Alshon Jeffrey-sized role is going to complement you down the road in your career.
So he'll still have to sit out the next year,
yes, right? Unless he wins an appeal and gets a special sanction for the NCAA, he will have to sit out a year, likely redshirt, and get just one last year of eligibility.
And then go to the drafts. So this is all preparations for him to go to the draft. So
he says he doesn't want to go to the NFL yet because he feels he needs to hone his skills at his new position.
Okay.
That he's never actually played before.
Any idea where he's going to be looking?
I mean, I would assume that the short list would be places anywhere from like a Vanderbilt to a Stanford or USC, maybe even all the way out to like a Washington or a Florida, or well, he probably can't go within the SEC outside of maybe Vanderbilt. Maybe even a Michigan is on that list, or Penn State, or Wisconsin. Just guys who use running backs and wide receivers, and guys anyone who plays a pro style offense. You could use a guy with a multiple skill set, but that just seems silly.
Do you know where he was recruited?
8-9 games into a season.
Yeah. Do you know where he was recruited when he was first coming out of high school?
Nebraska, Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, and I think USC. I would assume Nebraska could be in that mix as well.
Makes sense.
So I'm looking at right now the career yards leaders at Tennessee for running backs.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got number 1 is Travis Henry and his 15 children.
Yes.
He almost has as many yards.
Kids as yards?
Yeah, it's close. 3,078. He's in a tight race. And then number 2 is Arian Foster with 2,964. And then number 3 is James Stewart with and then number 4 is someone named Johnny Jones in the 80s. And then Jamal Lewis is number 5.
Yes.
With Jalen Hurd being 6. So you got 5 guys up there. There are 4 guys up there who played in the NFL. So this is guys going to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
Is this going to be a first?
There's no doubting the fact that it's the talent. I think that this is just a huge flag as far as his commitment to a program and a team rather than just himself. And it just is everything that's wrong with the college football transfer rule, that kids can just leave in season.
Yeah, but I think honestly they should be able to do that without having to redshirt. I think it's unfair that the coaches have all the power and can dictate where they can and can't go, and whether or not they're not paid. They're not
you sign a contract to get a free scholarship.
Okay, but the scholarship isn't used. If you think Anthony Davis or any of these guys
to play football, not school, that's fine. You signed
a contract too.
You can get into the student athlete thing on another Schmotable.
Right, but
signed a commitment letter to play for the University of Tennessee, and sign that letter is not being able to transfer certain places. Should you decide that the University of Tennessee down the road is not the best career opportunity for you,
ignoring the NCAA's clear terrible practices, I think that. I think it also signifies a loss of control for Butch Jones' program. Kicking Dan O'Brien off earlier this year, and coming off those, unbelievably heart-wrenching, wins, 5 of them in a row, and then, I think they've lost that momentum that they were building. I mean, it was crazy. It was off the seat of their pants, but I think they've lost that, and I think that this is another sign that their program is trending downward instead of looking up as it was when they rattled off 5 consecutive wins, most of them thrilling comebacks.
Mm-hmm. And on a side note, what did you make of the college football playoff rankings?
Rankings.
Yeah. Besides Alabama being number 1, let's forget Alabama. I don't want to hear you talk about Alabama.
We all assumed that was given. I am shocked that they put A&M in, being that A&M had that, which with how Tennessee has played now, that win over Tennessee is less impressive. That win over UCLA isn't all that impressive. Currently, A&M's most impressive win is over Auburn, and I was shocked to see them in. I think they have played. I think those teams aren't necessarily wash away teams, but I think Washington has 2 very impressive wins. I think Louisville has an impressive win over Florida State. And it doesn't matter if Florida State's kind of gone downhill. When you win 63-10, it's impressive. But when it's Florida State, they lost a close one to Clemson. And I guess just because they didn't play this week against Virginia, that they just got penalized for it. The top 4, the A&M was shocking. Having Ohio State ahead of Louisville is shocking.
Go Penn State.
Washington being outside the top 4 is shocking to me.
Yeah, how do you leave Washington out the top 4?
I think Washington has put together a great resume so far, an unblemished resume, and I think that at this point the unblemished resume has to go ahead of A&M's wins versus ranked opponents. But as we see currently, a couple of those ranked opponents are either no longer ranked or no longer nearly as impressive. Like you look at the Texas A&M's opening season win was against UCLA. UCLA is currently Josh Rosenari wasn't having a good season, and he's pretty much now done for the season. UCLA is kind of falling apart. Versus where you look at like Alabama, who's continues to solidify the number 1 ranking because USC just looks better and better and better.
Does Washington play? When does Washington play USC?
Next, I believe in the next 3 weeks. I bet we can look that up, guys, on a little thing called the internet.
That'll be a big one because I don't think Washington's been. I mean, Stanford doesn't look good at all. Stanford's probably maybe the most disappointing team in the country. One of them was.
One of them at this point with those couple of losses in a row there.
Yeah, with McCaffrey is supposed to have a Heisman season. And
they play at SC on November 12th.
He had a hot start, and now there's 2 defensive players that play just for Alabama who have more touchdowns or as many touchdowns as him. So there's that.
Yeah, and there's the Pac-12's down. Oregon's terrible, and Colorado's like one of their best teams, right?
Yeah, Colorado's having a renaissance season. They're actually been very, very good. But this past weekend, they had given Michigan their best run for their money.
Colorado's ranked 15th.
Colorado's been good. It looks like a three-team race, and not even a race because Washington's running away with it.
November 12th.
November 12th.
It's Washington.
All right.
We have Cal this weekend, which isn't necessarily a picnic, so. Washington has quite, as far as like upset-worthy games, has quite a November ahead of them. They have at Cal, which can be a trap game because Cal can be very up and down. Yeah. They have USC coming into town, and as I just mentioned, USC is much improved. Arizona State isn't great, but they can put up points on a lot of people, so that's
they'll handle them.
Arizona State will beat them, but that's something you can mark with a flag. And then you have the Apple Cup showdown. And since losing to Eastern Washington, Washington State has looked really good.
Yeah, they have looked good. I forgot about Washington State. They lost to Eastern Washington start the year?
Yep, start the year.
Wow. That red field.
Yeah.
The red field at Eastern Washington. They're a good team, though. I mean, as far as D2 is concerned, right? Eastern Washington?
Yeah. They are.
Okay.
That's
a route.
You can't be Washington State and losing to Eastern Washington.
Yeah. And they lost to Boise State the week after that.
Yeah.
Boise. Yeah. Well, all right. Let's. What are we moving on to?
Well, I think that we have to move back to baseball because, guys, the Cubs tied up the World Series tonight, and I said earlier that I soberly or maybe non-soberly was talking to some people on Friday, and I said Sunday is the game that matters. Either team can win Saturday and still have a shot to win because we're going back to Cleveland either way. Sure enough, based on how the Cubs played tonight, Sunday looked like it was the much more important game as far as the momentum of the series goes because currently I think the momentum of the series rides with the Cubs. Divock, what's your impression of the current state heading into Game 7?
I'm not a big believer in momentum, especially in series like this. I mean, it's been proven that momentum, the Indians had momentum after the first 2 games of Wrigley, and they lost the final one there. So I think I'm still biased, of course. But I'm thinking Cleveland takes it Game 7. I don't think they're losing 3 straight. I'll take Kluber. I'll take the bullpen. I'll take that home field. I'll take Francona. And see him get it done.
All right, Rayman, how about yourself?
Yeah, I think the Indians are going to close it out. I saw personally Francona do amazing things in 2004 when the Yankees were up 3-1. That was one of the worst baseball moments I've ever seen, collapses I've ever seen. And I think he's just a veteran manager who's been in this situation before with an ace that can really throw the ball and even on short rest did really well. So I think the Indians at home can close it out.
Yeah, in the early line, you got the Cubs favored at -113. I'm getting right now, anywhere from -111 to -115. So,
I agree partially in what you're saying about momentum, Divock, just because it's gone so back and forth. Home field, you would think, would play an advantage. Obviously, it really hasn't. It's been pretty even on the two home fields. Neither team really using it to their advantage for the most part. I would say if we are talking about momentum, it is in favor of the Cubs. Their bats seem to be hot again. The pitching is good. Kyle Hendricks pitched a hell of a game and only gave up the 1 run, and Terry Francone's bullpen really won him that game.
Mm-hmm.
But Corey Kluber was good on short rest once. We'll see if he can do it again. I don't think that you're wrong that Cleveland should be that Cleveland has some kind of advantage with their bullpen overall. Aroldis Chapman has to be gassed. He's obviously going to be available even if they're pitching other two innings tonight. But it's hard to pick against the Cubs even going into this. Just the momentum screams. Maybe it's just because we're in Chicago and there's the atmosphere around.
The momentum screams it, but that's what a lot of people will be thinking.
Yeah. That's true. It should be a hell of a game 7. I am hoping.
It will be. I think it'll be a good one. I said to all my Cubs fans friends, and I've been saying this for a while. Cubs are going to lose in the most excruciating fashion possible.
Oh God!
And I'm terrible. Shake and bake. I grew up as a White Sox fan on the North Side.
You've suffered enough.
90% Cubs fans. This has been my nightmare for 15 years. This is it.
Fair. That's fair. I am.
And now we have a big down arrow pointing on our stadium. You see that?
Yeah.
See that shit? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Sorry, man.
Fantastic.
Sorry.
But no, I'm a believer in 108-year droughts. Make it 109. Cleveland Indians.
Oh.
Go Tribe. Let's do it, baby.
Well, fair enough. We will see what happens Game 7 tomorrow night at Progressive. It's Progressive Field, isn't it?
It's Progressive Field. We can call it Jacobs.
Right.
You want to call it Jacobs? We can call it Jacobs.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm not calling it guaranteed rate field. I'm calling it Comiskey again.
That's fair.
It's not. I'm going back to Comiskey.
That is the worst name of a stadium I've ever heard.
Yeah,
and the down arrow too is the best part. I was just an absolute disgrace, and we're not going to get into that because I could go on about that for 2 hours.
Well, we'll save that. We'll let you do your own Schmotable, like sitting there by yourself.
I'm gonna probably write a Schmozone article tomorrow about the diatribes of a poor White Sox fan.
Oh man, I'm horrifically excited to listen to that. But speaking of things that are awful, actually, Halloween is really fun, so I don't really know about that. But I know we all saw, before we wrap this thing up, we all probably saw some either really great or really horrible Halloween costumes yesterday. Raymond, I know you're eager to share a little story you have about Halloween yesterday. What was the best Halloween costume you saw all weekend, baby?
So I guess there wasn't a best one I saw. I didn't see any the best one I guess was a Tom Brady mask, but that was mostly because we're in Philly. So why the hell would you have a Tom Brady mask on? What person who lives in Philly is a Patriots fan?
Was it
what was it?
Was it handsome?
I guess.
It was very handsome. I can speak. Yeah. I didn't see it, and it was handsome.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, he started dancing like Tom Brady at Carnival, so it got a little weird. But it was an interesting night to say the least. What about you guys?
Well, I have a couple. Actually, it was rather cute. The Brooklyn Nets dressed up as basketball players against the Bulls.
Yeah,
on Halloween. And that was my favorite Halloween costume. But we also let's see. I did see someone with the swastika, which was a little concerning to me. I don't even consider that. Is that a Halloween costume? Or just outright racism.
I feel like it's a Trump supporter.
It might have been. I kind of left that bar. But my favorite I'd say the worst Halloween costume undoubtedly was Mother Divac decided to dress up my dog in a banana split costume, right? Wait, I'm not done. And so my dog's a dachshund, and he had, so you can imagine he had the ice cream on his back, and then the tip of the banana was his hat. Okay, so imagine like a big, like pointy, whitish hat. Okay, he legitimately looked like he was in the Ku Klux Klan. Like legitimately, it was so terribly racist, and I'm like, Mom, like he looks like you can't bring him out like this. Like, I know we're like in like a, the suburbs, but like, come on, you can't. I mean, he looks like he's in the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah,
and that was probably the worst one I saw on the weekend.
That's rough.
The worst one I had to see was this girl couldn't have been this little girl walking around Lincoln Park couldn't have been any more than 13 at the most. Like, and that might be being generous just because I think this is so horrific. We all remember Kim Kardashian's spread in whatever magazine with the champagne coming out her butt into her head.
Yeah.
Girl dressed like that. Walking down the street, trick-or-treating on Wrightwood Avenue.
Wow.
What?
Moseying with a, like, paper-mache champagne bottle, like, going up onto, like, a glass topped onto her head, whatever the hell it is, or the bottle, or the holding the bottle and it goes on her butt, whichever direction the champagne was going from the butt. Either way, this girl couldn't have been more than 12 or 13. And
where were her parents?
Older, then it's even weirder because she was trick or treating still. And I was getting like about to go buy groceries and was just like driving in my car to go to the grocery store. I just couldn't believe it.
That's
flabbergasted.
That is flabbergasted. Wow, I like that use of the word flabbergasted.
Yeah,
that's all you can describe it.
I was appalled and
appalled. You sound like Stephen A. Smith.
My friend LeBron James and I were just devastated.
Give me a so disrespectful.
Just
how disrespectful. It was disrespectful.
What Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade and Rajon Rondo did on that alley-oop was just disrespectful.
Disrespectful. It was awful. Poor costume-wearing Brooklyn Nets. So disrespectful.
Yeah, and it was just mind-blowing. And, normally it'd be, that's just like an easy thing to just make fun of. And I was just more like, oh, my God. Donald Trump, and my next thought was, oh my God, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are about to be president of this world.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I have my stuff packed, and I'm gonna roam around Canada for election.
Dude, Mexico. Open up a tequila bar in Mexico. See you guys there.
Any good sports costume ideas that you had out there? Any good ones that not that you saw, but just ideas like quick, easy sports costumes. That
quick and easy. I have an elaborate one, but quick and easy. You could have been smoking Jay Cutler since he was smoking last night.
Quick and easy. That is quick and easy. I mean, Harbaugh. I like the Harbaugh.
Yeah, I was Harbaugh last year. Harbaugh's quick and last
easy.
Year.
Quick and easy. My quick and easy one would have been wearing a Texans jersey and then robbing a bank and saying you're Black Osweiler. That'd been my quick and easy one.
That would have been awesome.
And then when you go to jail, maybe you can say you're Aaron Hernandez when you go to jail. And,
no.
The
one
savage.
The one funny one I saw was Jermichael Finley wearing a trash can dressed up as Charlie Strong.
Wait, you actually saw that?
Yeah, Jermichael Finley posted on Twitter. He's wearing a trash can. He's emulating Charlie Strong, and he says the inevitable.
Jermichael Finley.
That's pretty awesome.
That's funny. I haven't heard Jermichael Finley in a while. Wow.
Yeah, right?
Jermichael Finley.
Disrespectful.
Jermichael Finley.
Disrespectful.
Oh, man. Disrespectful.
All right, folks. Enjoy Game 7. That's a wrap from us here at the Schmotable. Keep tuning in every week and look for us on SoundCloud. Thanks again.
All right.
Have a good day, guys.
Peace.